Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto. You've probably heard these words thrown around everywhere. And let's be honest, they're usually surrounded by a ton of hype and, well, even more confusion. It can definitely feel like you're trying to get into a secret club, but you just don't have the password.
Look, if you've ever felt totally lost trying to figure this stuff out, that's completely normal. All the jargon, it can sound like a foreign language, right? It's easy to feel like you're missing something really important. But here's the good news. You're not missing some secret technical key. The truth is, these concepts are actually pretty simple once you have the right way to think about them. And today, we're going to give you that exact framework. Okay, let's just get straight to the core idea. For a second, forget all the complicated stuff you've heard. The whole thing really boils down to two parts. Just think of blockchain as this revolutionary, super secure notebook. And cryptocurrency? Well, that's just the money that's being tracked inside that notebook. That's it. That's the one analogy you need to remember. All right, so first things first, let's just tackle that confusion head on. We've got to cut through all the noise to get to the simple but really powerful ideas hiding underneath. So yeah, let's just park all that confusing language at the door for a minute. We're going to build this up from the ground floor, using one simple idea that pretty much anyone can get. And this right here is the key to it all. Our magical notebook analogy. Just imagine you and your friends want to keep track of favors, or maybe some small IOUs. But instead of a regular old notepad, you use this very special, kind of magical one. So this brings us to the first piece of the puzzle, the notebook itself. Remember, this notebook is the blockchain. Let's break down what actually makes it so special and so incredibly secure. Okay, so this notebook has three magical properties. First, anytime a transaction happens, let's say Alex pays Ben, it gets written down on a page. Once that page is totally full of transactions, it becomes a block. Easy enough. Second, as soon as a page, or block, is full, it's sealed and then cryptographically linked to the page that came before it. This is what creates a chain of blocks, and that's where we get the name blockchain. And third, and this is the absolute game changer, everyone in the group gets an identical, magically updating copy of the entire notebook. You see, that linking process is what makes the whole thing so powerful. Because every single page is chained to the last one, you can't just go back and secretly scribble something out on page 5. If you tried, you'd break the entire chain, and it would stick out like a sore thumb on everyone else's copy. It creates this permanent, unchangeable history of everything that's ever happened. And this is where you can really see the massive difference. In our normal, traditional system, one person, like a bank or a company, holds the master ledger. You just have to trust them not to mess with it. But with blockchain, everybody has an identical copy. So if someone tries to cheat and change a transaction in their notebook, it won't match anyone else's copy, and the whole network just instantly rejects it. Bam. You don't need a boss or a bank to keep everyone honest. So let's just tie this all together. What is a blockchain really? At its heart, it's just a shared, super secure digital record book. The two things you got to remember are that it's permanent, you can't change the past, and it's constantly being checked and verified by every single person using it. Okay, so we've got this amazing tamper-proof notebook. The next obvious question is, what are we writing in it? And that brings us to the second half of our simple equation. This is exactly where cryptocurrency comes into play. It's the what. A cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin, is simply the first and, so far, the most famous thing that we started tracking with this new blockchain technology. It is the digital money that fills up the pages of our shared notebook. And this simple idea leads to something pretty revolutionary, this concept that you can be your own bank. Think about it. Because the notebook, the blockchain, is public and shared, you just don't need a traditional bank sitting in the middle of your business, holding on to their own private records. You can send and receive value directly with another person, anywhere in the world. But why the name crypto? It sounds so secretive, maybe even a little sketchy. But the reason is actually hiding right there in the name itself. It's not just about money, it's really about security. It's called crypto because it uses cryptography, which is really just a fancy word for the science of making and breaking secret codes. And it uses it to lock everything down. To spend your money, you use a secret digital key that only you have.
The best way to think about it is like a truly unforgeable signature. It proves to the entire network that you, and only you, have the right to move those funds. So we get the notebook and we get the money that's written in it. But what's the big deal? Why does everybody keep saying this technology is so revolutionary? Let's get to the so what of it all. It really boils down to three huge things. First, you are in control. Only you have the key to your funds. No bank can freeze your account or stop you from making a transaction. Second, it makes global transactions incredibly easy. You can send value to anyone, anywhere, 24/7, and usually with way lower fees. And third, it creates a whole new system of trust. The transparency is literally built into the code. You don't have to trust a person or a company, you just have to trust the math. So let's bring it all home with one final crystal clear distinction. The next time you hear these terms, this is all you need to remember. Blockchain is the groundbreaking notebook technology itself, that new way of recording things securely. Cryptocurrency is just the first and most famous thing we decided to write in that amazing notebook.
I mean, this technology has already shown it can completely rethink something as fundamental as money. So that leaves us with one really big question. If we can rebuild currency on a system of pure transparency and user control, what else could we rebuild? Voting systems, supply chains, our own digital identities? The possibilities are really just getting started.